What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and there is new firmware that just released for the AAAWAVE DG1 home. So we're going to check it out, show you how to update your firmware, and I'm not even sure what version I have in here, whatever the default is. I do believe this is the second firmware to release, maybe third, not 100% sure, but there is new firmware. Let's check it out. Before we do that, I do want to point out we're currently using 657 watts at the wall. All right, so here we are inside of my dashboard, and maybe I was blind last time, but I don't think there is a dark mode yet. So if I flash banged you, I apologize. So here we are. It looks like I've been running it for about 35 days now. We're sitting at an average of about 2.1 gigahash or 2,153 megahash. Coming down to my firmware version, I'm on version 1.0.0.1. So I'm pretty sure that's like the very first one, and the latest version is like 1.0.0.5. So let's try to find this firmware and update this thing. All right, so here I am on the AAAWAVE website here, and we can see the latest firmware released today. So yeah, it is very, very new firmware here, and it looks like the original one is the 0.1. So I don't know if there's any in between there actually or not, but right now it's at 0.5. So it is saying that they did add SSL connection supporting. I guess let's add up here. So they did say they added WLAN turn-off function, so wireless LAN here, I guess. 2, they add SSL connection supporting. 3, they fix certain machines abnormally configurations cleared issue. So we'll see what that's all about. I don't have any issues, so that shouldn't affect me unless it causes an issue. We'll see what happens. 4, optimize the WLAN refresh option. So this is, I think that's your wireless, so you can just keep hitting the refresh and find it easy and things like that. 5, optimize certain machines' power consumption. So certain machines. So I don't know. Maybe it won't affect mine. Maybe it will. We'll see what happens there. That's why we did look at the power earlier to see if it did do anything. And then other optimization. So who knows? Maybe they finally have a sleep mode or something that allows it to shut the power off so you can unplug the thing. Unless, obviously, you're using a switch. But on my 240 volt, I don't have a switch. I shut the breaker off or something. But yeah, so we'll just see what any changes are here. So I'm going to download this by simply clicking the download button like so. I'm going to come in my downloads and hit the save button. All right, so it is downloading here. Once it's done, we're going to jump into our miner and see how to update this thing. All right, so here's the file. It is a zip file here, so I'm just going to click on that, and then here's our file. I'm going to extract it. We're going to extract this file. Extract, yep, do all your things. There we go. So now we have the extracted file. I'm going to close all this out, and now we're going to look for the update switch, which is right here. Firmware file. So now we just got to find that here. So we're going to go my downloads here. I'll go to where we downloaded it, and here is our update. So this is the extracted version, not the zip file. So I did extract that zip file, and this is the file within the extracted folder there. So I clicked on that. I'm going to open it. Now I'm going to hit that update button, and we're going to see what happens here. We got a little thing pop up here. During the upgrade, please be patient and wait for 3 minutes before attempting to refresh the page to see if the interface can be accessed normally. I'm just going to hang out here, see if anything changes. I'm going to wait 5 minutes maybe, and then hit that refresh button. All right, so I am in my dashboard here. I'm just going to kind of hit the refresh button again. It's been up for 6 minutes and 8 seconds. All my settings stayed, so we had nothing to worry about there on having to input your pool and everything again. We do have 46 accepted shares now, 0 rejected, and you can see my firmware is now saying version 1.0.5. So there's actually a 0 removed from there. I do believe it was 1.0.0.1, and now it's 1.0.5. So maybe it went up quite a bit of versions, or they just got rid of all those other numbers there because it was too long. Anyway, everything's looking okay here. Coming into Wi-Fi, it looks like we can hit a refresh button, and everything's bringing everything up. I don't remember if, this happened before. I'm going to have to look at my old video to see if we even had all this. I don't remember, but refresh and stuff. If it wasn't working before, it looks like it's detecting everything now. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I really see going on here. I still don't see any type of dark mode anywhere. Let me just click on some other stuff. Nope, nothing. or blink, that should detect your miner. You click on that. Say you have 1,000 miners, you don't know which one is down. You hit the blink button there, and it'll turn a light on the miner. You can just walk down your aisle and find the miner that's off. Obviously, if you only have one or two, it's probably pretty simple. You know your IP or something to each one and so on, and you can just figure it out and not need to use that. But that's what that's for. A lot of people are unfamiliar with what that even means. So that's what that is. But yeah, 0% rejections. Everything's looking good. Let's see if our power consumption has changed at all. All right, so previously we were at about 657 watts. We're now at 640. So we did lose about 17 watts at the wall. Now it did just reboot. It should still be warm, but I'm going to let it sit longer because as things do heat up, you know, they do become less efficient, things expand, and they do use more power. So it's always recommended to check your power a couple hours after you've been running your miner. All right, so that is how we update the firmware. We did lose a little bit of power here. I'm still waiting for it to heat up a bit longer, and we'll take a look at that. But I did get a rejected share. Now, 88 accepted, 1 rejected, 1% rejection rate. That's not too bad here. I'm going to let it play out a little bit longer, but so far it's currently looking like we are averaging. It's been very short time, only 12 minutes. So again, you're going to have to let this sit for at least a couple days to get a full average here. But I'm not really noticing much of a hash rate change or shift at all. We did see that little bit at lower power there, but again, we don't know if anything's happening. And remember, it's never recommended to update your firmware unless you're possibly experiencing issues with your machine. So if yours is working fine, then there's no need to do so. Now, if we do save that 15 watts on every machine, then it might be worth it, to save that little bit of power, especially the higher your power price is. But for now, everything's looking pretty much the same as the original version, at least on my miner. All right, guys, so it has been about 45 minutes, hour, something like that. And we went up an extra 3.5 watts or so. We're sitting around 643 watts. So we are still more efficient than the original firmware. That is about the only difference I am seeing with this miner currently based on, anything that was going on with mine. Everything has been perfect. All right, guys, that pretty much does wrap up this video here. I will have a link to that firmware down in the description if you do want to update yours. Again, remember, only recommended to update firmware if you're experiencing issues or you want to try that small power consumption decrease there, depending on your power price. You can try it, see what you get. Let me know if you are using this firmware and if you notice a slight drop in power as well. It's nothing game changing or breaking, but the new firmware is here and I showed you how to set it up. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.